Okay, welcome back. We are here for Trophy Gold, playing Leviathan's Bridge, and we are at an action-packed part of the set of the incursion at the moment. Please let me know what you remember from last time, and I'll try to fill in the blanks. So I would like to start with Masero.
Yeah, Masero, we are in the Bone Garden, I believe. And there's a big, creepy guardian that seems to be very interested in stopping us through whatever means possible. I think it's like attracted when we move around on all the clinky clacky bones and stuff. So we've been trying to figure out how to avoid that. I think I had some sort of little. Oh yeah, the sawtooth vulture. That's what it was. That kind of like flapped to the other side of the area, and I think the that did not it did not get past. So I think it's okay. I don't think it got uh, chomped or anything. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, and then Gwon.
Well, I remember Gwon appearing for the first time, joining the party, and um, they found in the Bone Garden pretty neat artifact, magical item, the Skydancer's belt. And yeah, so far we still didn't manage to get past the Guardian.
Okay, and then finally Hudjar.
So if I recall, Hudjar was convinced that Gwon was some kind of sign or avatar from Saint Exodius of the Leviathan, the sister of the depths. Uh and they all managed to make their way through the Bone Garden. But when the guy I think Hudjar went ahead, and when the Guardian was encountered, Hudjar let loose a demon from a totem to distract it while she slipped through. But then it turned out that, in fact, the stranger who had been following Hajjar was, in fact, Hudjet, her twin sister, who is, it turns out, quote unquote, the good one, and she is, quote unquote, the bad one. And in fact, the reparations that she has to pay for her drive are to the dark thing that she worships, which her jet is trying to seal permanently out of this world. So, bit of a reversal there. And she snuck through and is now in the glowing sanctuary. And we believe that there is about to be an encounter between the sisters, an uncanny doppelganger encounter.
Oh yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh boy. So I'm going to say that because of this, I think you're actually in a liminal space. The reason I say that is because it's like, if you go in and then you guys start to battle, you aren't going to get a chance to battle because there's going to be something else that's going to approach you. So I'm going to say that, like, as you're making it a race to try and get to the glowing sanctuary, and Hadyet intercepts you, that's where you're probably like kind of like she's your obstacle to try and get through to the sanctuary itself. So you're not quite there, you're like in the middle, and then we will go to Masero and Gwon first to see if they can catch up, because this would be interesting to see. Okay, so Gwon, you had found the Sky Dancer's belt. Like, it's like, you're feeling like you're able to hover. You're so light, um, over the over the ground, maybe a few inches off or something. And then Macero, it's like, yeah, like I believe, and I can totally retcon this if you want. I think what happened was the sawtooth vulture baby was making, like, squawking, and the bone guardian thing had approached, and I think it was so busy in what like protecting you that it managed to haul itself up on top of the guardian
Ah,
and is
yeah.
now just causing itself to be an annoyance. But the bone guardian's like, yeah, whatever, it's just waiting for something else to move,
Right,
you
right.
know. So um I would say though that this is a great opportunity for either or both of you to do hunt rolls to see if you want to try and make your way through. um
I think I already have a hunt token, so if both of us can gain another one, we could pull it together.
that would be great.
So what's the situation with the Guardian at this moment?
It is being harassed by the little squawking squib or whatever you want to call the squab, the the sawtooth vulture baby. I mean, like, whatever. And it's causing a bit of a distraction. Like, it's trying to feel for vibrations in the ground because it's like from what you've noticed before that it will go towards any movement, any sound that's in its vicinity, but you're just right outside of it at the moment. And but the baby is causing like a lot of problems. Like it's obviously feeling the vibrations and hearing the squawking of the baby. So, you know, you could look around for more information, do a little bit of hunting at the moment before you try and get past it or tackle it or what have you. So here I am crossing everything like that I possibly can, including my eyes, to hope that you guys get a hunt token.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, how large is this thing? Like,
Let's see. The Guardian. It looms because you're essentially looking at something that is cobbled together from the teeth and spines of ocean predators, like piled and attached together by some kind of means, whether mechanical or even magical. And then there's also like the interspersal of polished bones and hardwood. So this is definitely not natural.
right, right.
So, and it's looming. I mean, imagine the temple entrance. I'm pretty sure like it's close. It's close to being like right by the top of its archway. Oh, and then of course this is definitely not natural because the glowing runes are inscribed across its head and its torso. Hudjar probably would be able to read that. I mean,
I want to climb. Maybe there's like a pillar of bones or the archway you described or so, and see if I get like a better view.
Okay. Yeah, I imagine that. I mean, in this bone garden, it is as it says. There's so many ribs and vertebrae of this Leviathan skeleton just hanging suspended here. And then there's also like the bromeliads, like those vine things, creeping succulents, like just kind of sprouting from the husks of other plants and creatures. It's very overgrown, it's wild, and it's just chaos, but chaos of life. And this is one of the things that is just like unnatural life. Yeah, so it kind of like will move its like its pincer like limbs, like kind of like as the squab is just kind of like moving all over it, like you see this tuft of feathers and stuff on it, and it's just kind of like moving slowly, but you know that once it gets on its skittering legs, it moves quicker. Definitely it will move quicker than you will if it hears you.
Sure, and I want to make a hunt roll, getting up, getting better view, scouting out the situation.
Okay.
And the way I do it is every time the Guardian isn't occupied with the baby vulture, every time it might look back into my direction. I pretend to be just a part of the pillar I'm at, just a bit of wood, you know,
Nice.
not
Okay.
moving.
Mimicry, yeah.
Yeah, mimicry of. Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I'm
I'll
going
take it.
for.
Okay, and so you're gonna scurry up on one of these things to get a better view and try to see if you
Yeah,
can work a way around it. Okay, so two
maybe
on the hunt.
we can move above or something.
Yeah,
That's my.
nice. Okay, two on the hunt roll, please.
That's a 5.
Okay, I'm just waiting because okay, there it is. Oh no. Okay, so definitely get a token. Keep that for right now. You do succeed to see there is a pathway to do this. It's almost like it is a little bit on a pattern when it's not normally distracted or if it's responding to some sort of movement. I think between the belt that makes you feel so much lighter, you would probably be able to kind of uh, lightly like whoosha your way like over and around using like a traverse through the vines, hanging onto the bones, making your way to the archway. But I think as you're figuring this out, I think, you do. I'm gonna leave it as a kind of like, oh no, um, you hold on to something that makes a sound. Like maybe you grab onto something as you're trying to like look around and make this traverse. I think you grab onto something that makes a distinct, and the bone guardian's face like turns right towards you. Yeah. Okay, Masero, what are you doing?
While they're doing that, we like converse quietly for a moment,
Yeah.
and you're going up that way. I'm the grappling hook and rope, and not try to climb up, but try to like see if there are any places that are like loose or just kind of like testing the integrity of the walls, floors, ceilings, and then if the bone guardian is attracted to the sound, like wait while while Guan goes a little bit, we like trade off doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Which makes perfect sense. I mean, again, it's like, you see like all sorts of things that you can do, whether it's quiet, that's a completely different story.
Yeah, it's
So,
kind of like testing though.
okay,
There.
so you got the piece of equipment and you've got your idea what you want to do. So go ahead and roll 2 on the hunt roll, please.
Ooh, couple threes. All right.
You're killing me, man. Okay. So I think as you see the creatures like, attention go to Guan because of that distinct crack, you try and do it like to test. Whoops, you make an even bigger sound because I think your grappling hook and rope catch onto something that brings a whole complete piece down in front of you. And the Bone Guardian will, turn away from Guan and then start skittering towards you. It's all good. It's all good. I think as we see that, I think we're going to flip back over to Hudjar and Hadyet. Over. I'm going to say, you are in this liminal space that is representative by a path of bone, like laid out in a distinct pattern. Almost like steps, but not quite. It's like an incline that has like bones like regularly patterned across, almost like a very, very macabre mosaic. And they're leading to this path and this doorway that has the arch, the doorway of it, like glowing faintly, but it almost like hums and throbs as you're looking at it. But right now in your vision is your twin sister. And she's looking at you and saying, I have to stop you. Cannot do this anymore. I will not allow you to cross and disturb the peace of this sanctuary. You will not pass.
I think Hudjar smiles and says, "You have been preventing me from reaching my goal many times in our lives, sister. It seems that as we were born together, I move and you foil the move. But this is my last move and you will fall. I have reparations to make and you will not stop me from making them."
And I will not allow you to succeed. If we go together. So there you go.
Yeah. Yep. Time to see who the good twin and who. No, sorry.
Who the good twin is. Just...
yeah.
I love it.
So, for the record, I am going to try and fight Hudjar and get to the door.
Yeah. And just as a clarification again for the recording, it's like Hudjar's goal is to
pay the reparations for my siblings' curse work. So basically, the idea is that Hudjar has been following me and sealing up my works as I attempt to release the creature that is the source of my magic. I mean, Hudjar's a priestess and a dreamer of awakened dreamer. The thing that waits in the dream, the thing that waits in the shadows of her magic, the thing inside the totem, that is the thing that is she wants to let loose, and that is what demands the reparations. And if the blood of her sister is what is required to pay the price, then she will pay it.
And Hudjar's been trying to stop you from releasing this cursed demon thing, evil, out on the world for her whole life, your whole lives. So we'll see. We'll see how good this gets. Good. All right. So, following rules of combat, do you want to try? I mean, I don't know. Like, are you evenly matched? Do you want to try and do a reduction first, like with risk?
I think we're past that because I think like basically in this room we can see that the shadows of Hudjar are sort of reaching out and trying to grasp at her, but she conversely emits a light like the sun, like glowing off her armor, and it is banishing the shadows, and they are meeting roughly in the middle as they dissipate each other. So no reduction is possible.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to find out because I mean I thought that was interesting, especially with the twin trope, the fighting twin trope. All right. So let's let's build this. Oh boy. Okay. So you are participating. It's you. How are you exposing yourself to injury or attack? I mean, you're going up against your sister. I think you know each other's weaknesses.
I think the obvious one is my weakness is she knows everything about me and what is my literally what my weaknesses are, all of them.
Okay, so
and I know hers. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a place to have a battle! I enjoy this. This is great. Oh boy.
I got a 3 for my weak point.
Okay. All right. So you would just roll one dark die for the combat.
Yeah, I'm gonna win with 1 die. No,
that's great.
it's so great, so great,
so great.
Combat 1. Oh well, nothing.
No. 2. No. You defeated if endurance is 2 or less. Absolutely not. Okay. But at least it's not your weak point, so you do not mark ruin. Okay, so that's good.
I think it basically looks like an extension of what we said before, that the shadows have moved into a pack of like maws and skittering things and writhing shapes, and they're sort of oozing out of Hudjar as she holds their hands in the air like a marionette, like a puppet master, and they strike, and Hudjar simply pulls out. She has a sort of target, like a circular shield. She pulls that out. She's wearing like armor and like quite elaborate Naganese armor and a long flowing sort of pantaloons and boots and a helmet. She's in full armor. And she pulls out from the scabbard a scimitar-like sword that looks like it's made out of like glass or crystal or something, and it starts to glow with that same sunlight. And she just strikes the shadows away, and they just die screaming.
You're still facing off against each other. We're gonna do one more round of this battle, of this combat, and then we're gonna flip back to the others.
Oh, nice. Oh, I hope this. Let's see. So that's
so now two
combat
dark die
2.
on the combat.
Oh, it's a 6, but it didn't hit. Once again, perfectly matched. It didn't hit my weak point.
Yeah. So right. I mean, like nobody's experienced any ruin, and I think as this is happening, as you're battling each other, light versus dark. Oh my God, I think the pulsing door. Again, the light seems to pulse in time with the violence of the battle, even though there's like no real blood spilled at the moment. It's just again light versus dark. But then you hear this hum, like harmonically go up and down, as if there's like a soundtrack to the battle outside of this glowing sanctuary. And it glows brighter as we move back into the bone garden, and then see Masero, you've got this skittering beast, looming monster coming towards you. Gwon, you are up in the vines, having just created that sound, but notice that Masero is going to be occupied quite soon. So I would say that Gwon, you're in a position to help reduce endurance if you want by risking something, okay, by doing a risk roll. And then, of course, Masero, you'd be entering into combat, Unless you want to, I don't know.
How high is the
At
roof?
this juncture, can you run away? Yeah.
Is the roof significantly higher than the Guardian could reach?
Theoretically, yes. Like, because again, it's almost as high as the archway of the temple itself, but then above it is the massive bones of the Leviathan curving overhead as the vines are like kind of interspersed between the bones.
I think if I see it coming towards me because of the clatter, I think I do the moonlight ritual and try to glow levitate above it.
Okay.
See if I
right.
end up fighting it that way.
Oh God. Sorry. I'm just like, you're so close at a 5 ruin.
I know.
Oh God. Just crossing my fingers. Okay. So let's build this ruin. Oh dear. Risky, of course, because you're using a ritual.
There is.
What could go wrong as Masero, tries to dissipate as moonlight?
It could just grab me before.
Yeah, I mean, right. You just don't complete the ritual, and it's just like, chop, chop. There we go. Yeah, I mean, that's the most obvious thing. I really don't have anything that could go worse.
I mean, it could go the way that you can't go back to normal again, so you dissipate. Yeah.
Oh man.
Technically escaping.
But you're stuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. In which case, I would say that's almost like feeding into your ruin, right? I would think that would be the way that you go out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, light die something that you are skilled at.
If I pull down the stuff and try and get distracted by that trickery, maybe if I'm focused on that down there and not the giant Only guy in
Nice. I'll take it because I mean it just seems so ridiculous, but definitely something in keeping with how things have gone for Masero. So I'll take it. And then Dark Die, of course, because you're doing the ritual. All right, people. Devil's bargains, the fun stuff, no matter what. No matter what.
Oh, I know. No matter what, you pass through the creature and take on some of its essence.
Yeah, that's great.
Ooh. Oh man. Um. Hmm.
No matter what, the baby vulture gets crushed.
Oh wait, do we have a line against that? Let me just check.
Oh yeah, please do.
Let's see. Nobody said anything about animals, so I mean, yeah, that's possible. Unless it is a line for somebody, in which case, you can go ahead and mark it
Yes,
now.
please.
Yeah, so that's fine.
But no one speaks up apparently.
I mean, domestic or wild animals. I mean, like nobody's marked it as anything. So
I think I'll take the passing through and taking on the essence of the guardian. That sounds really fun.
oh shit.
That's a good one.
Okay. All right. DB. All right.
Okay, 2 light, 1 dark.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Crit. If there was crits.
Amazing! Oh my god. Hold on, I'm just a screenshot.
Oh my god.
2 sixes! Light sixes! Thank God. Okay. I'm so happy for you.
That could have gone very badly.
Yes, that could have very much gone
Yes.
badly. In fact, because of the double sixes, tell me how this looks, like doing the thing, and then passing through the creature, and I will give you something interesting in return.
I think it's like it is coming at where things have fallen down right by me.
Mhm.
And I think it's almost I think I almost don't even realize that I'm doing it. It's like an instinctual, like, oh, I just got this thing, poof, moonlight, and it like when it goes at me, it passes through me. And that's when I'm like go forward, like leap through the trouble into it and through it. And I don't know if that gets me to the other side, but it sounds like it gets me to the other side of the guardian at least. Floating a little bit. And I don't think it's like floating to the ceiling. I think it's it just says floating above the ground. So I think it's more of a like hovering a few feet above the air and then sort of gliding through it.
Yes.
So kind of like tearing at the floor with the bones there.
Exactly. Yeah, I think as it's tearing through and you dissipate into this beautiful shaft of ephemeral moonlight, I think as you shine through the creature, you are taking on the shape of this um mantis looking thing, like maybe like with the kind of the hooked arms and such and so forth. But I think as you're passing by, I think you passing through, you hear, "Help me! Help me! Let me out!" And you, as you're passing through, you feel like you're getting shined upon by something hot and bright. Like you're able to see inside the creature itself. And you can see that there's some kind of crystalline center to it, embedded within its chest.
Can I temporarily like reform my hand and grab it? I like phase it out as I'm going through.
I don't know if you're into Legion of Superheroes, but damn, I'm like seeing like, Phantom Lass, like, right here. I love that. I absolutely adore that. I will allow it because I think that's fucking
man.
cool. Depending on what happens, though, we're gonna switch right back to Gwon and then see what Gwon's doing. Oh shit. Okay, this is risky. Just so you know, you have reduced the creature's endurance through this act, but if you want to, you can risk some more and then see about doing so through this action. Risk to body, possibly mind, I will say. So that'll automatically get you the dark die. What is your equipment, skill, something or other that you can use towards
Hmm.
that light die? Because if not, it's going to be a devil's bargain to get you the light die.
And can I use the moonlight ritual itself as the like, since I'm in like moonlight form, that be the light die there? Oh, if not, maybe charm. I can
Ah,
try to like
yeah.
if I like speak with whatever the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
be like, I can help you, but you have to help me.
Ah, I'll take that. Sure.
So
Okay. All right. So, and of course, our lovely devil's bargains. He's taking on the aspect of this creature. So there's, you know, when he comes out, he's going to be part mantis looking thing. We'll
mhm.
see. We'll see how this goes. Love some body horror. But I mean, what do we want to say?
Well, I'm
Sorry,
doubling down. Go on, sorry.
I missed what you said about what could go wrong.
Oh, totally did not do the what
Oh
could go
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what could go wrong is that you grasp onto it, but I think you're gonna get absorbed. Like, you can
Ooh, get
totally get
absorbed.
absorbed into this crystalline thing,
Mhm.
right? So that could definitely be the oh shit, the oh shit moment. So,
You want to go like full body horror, like
mm-hmm.
not have control over the like unphasing and just like fully reform inside the
Uh-huh. And you will be forever more part of the Bone Guardian.
like
That's like that's
Mm,
lost to the nth degree, okay?
yeah.
yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, if you're familiar with the end of Hellraiser 2, like when all the
Mhm.
faces are seen from that weird ass box.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Okay, so Devil's Bargain, no matter what.
My idea is no matter what, it's a bit like a golem, like it has or an automaton, it has like an instruction inside the core, and you take on the instruction.
Hmm.
Don't know what it is, but
Ooh.
What does that mean? Like taking on the instruction?
Maybe like an imperative.
Yeah.
yeah, well, like the idea with like the Golem of Prague or whatever is that there's a small scroll inside the
Uh-huh.
clay body, and it has like the word that gives it life, but also the command, like the equivalent of the laws of robotics that keep it, tell it what to do, and the crystal is like that,
Mhm.
and yeah, you take on some of that. I don't know.
So
I'm
so
trying to be vague. I'm trying to
yeah.
be vague to give Mark some choice, basically.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm just thank you very much. I'm just asking so I'm not going
Oh
in
yeah.
the very same direction.
No matter what, you will have a shadow of this entity speaking at you, in
Mhm.
you, forevermore.
Oof.
Like it's not symbiotic, parasitic. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. I'll let you decide, like, but you will hear this. I'm sorry if every single time you're in a game with me, Mark, I always give you voices in your head. I'm sorry.
Don't screaming at me forever.
Hissing Darkness was like, famed for this. But I mean, it just comes back to that, right? Because I mean, this entity spoke to you. You're trying to charm it, and it will be with you forevermore. That's my devil's bargain.
I'll take that one. I'll take that one. That's pretty good.
Okay.
I was a big fan of Screaming Skulls.
Oh,
Hey,
you may just end up being like one. Who
I
knows?
know.
Who knows?
Find out.
Okay, so wait, hold on. Yeah. So never mind. Like what you get. I mean, like your condition is basically like, um, uh, entity's call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
So
got a light four.
okay, you can add a dark die and reroll.
I think I'm gonna stick with the light four.
Okay. You succeed, and of course, your complication is it's like you have this entity in your head. But tell me what you feel happens when you rematerialize your hand into this thing as you pass.
As I'm passing through, I hear that and turn around and kind of like see that core, and my hand becomes. I think it's just a bone because I'm kind of taking on aspect of the guardian, and so instead of like the flesh reforming, it's just the bone. Like my hands are just bone hands now, and just like kind of grasping around that, and then both myself and that turn into the moonlight and pull that out of the center of the guardian as we appear on the other side.
I think as you're feeling your bone hand pulling that out, there is a scream that is blasting into your metaphysical head. And I think it's so loud that even Gwon, where you are, you can hear it.
Wow.
Because you can see this shaft of moonlight piercing the creature, and then also like you can see this bony hand like starting to come out, but then pulling something with it. It is speaking to you as it's coming out. Like you can hear the screams, but then there's like a voice behind it that you can hear, Masero. And it's humming and vibrating, saying, "Can't take it out. Can't take it out until it's dead. Kill it. Free me." And you have reduced it yet again. You've reduced its endurance yet again. And Gwon, you see this happening. Like there's a bony hand that has something clutched in it, but it can't be completely removed from the bone creature. So what you see is that the bony hand has pulled out just enough that it's no longer embedded within, but you can see it pulsing on the outside. There is a crystal here, a glowing crystal. And you can hear it hum and vibrate. The humming and vibrating is heard by Gwon, but you hear the actual words that the entity is speaking. Masero. Gwon, do you want to do anything?
What's Masero's situation here? Did you pass already?
I passed through it, and I'm still luminous in moonlight, so I'm not like solid yet. But I'm still like I guess like kind of stuck maybe in it or near it, trying to pull.
Yeah, if you're trying to still pull the crystal out, you're definitely like on it. But I'm gonna say, like, as Masero comes back into himself, like you see that one of Masero's hands is actually like this kind of crooked limb, like a mantis, and then maybe part of his like leg is no longer an actual leg. Maybe it's like some kind of changed, twisted thing of bone and wood. So there is some aspects here. And in fact, I think, as you coalesce and you see your bony hand like still clutching this crystal, I think, Gwon, you're seeing Masero. Part of his face is regular, but then the other side is like the insectoid type of eye, gleaming black obsidian, and then like maybe there's an antenna like peeking out from the back of his head, but these antenna is made of bone. So yeah, that's what you see. So
yeah, I think as I reform I just yell, "Kill it!"
Gwon, the camera shows Gwon, and they say Gwon is not going to do that.
Would you like to? I mean, basically, you have a choice of a hunt roll to figure out what to do, or to do a risk roll to either get away or, try to bring it down even more, bring down its endurance.
But let's see. If I'd run away, then we are still not out of this set, right?
The essential set goal is to pass the Guardian to enter the temple.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave Masero behind. So, maybe I'm going to do a ritual here.
Okay.
And so you say there's this crystal and it's still embedded into the Guardian.
Yeah, it looks like Masero's kind of stuck, like he's trying to get it out, but it's not coming out.
Yeah, so I'm going to help with that, I think.
Okay.
I wonder if a ritual is necessary or if I could just use an item here. It'd definitely be a risk roll, right?
Oh yeah, it's dangerous. You have to get up close and personal to get to that thing. I mean, unless, you're working. If you are using your ritual, then like you're working your swarm in there to try and help dig it out. Which case, like, you're not quite, in danger, but
Mm-hmm.
You will be in
Yeah.
danger by association.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm trying to summon like little critters,
Mm-hmm.
in the vermin,
Okay.
whatever are in the area, and my goal is that they climb the Guardian and
Mm-hmm.
gnaw the crystal free.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I will say that is very possible, but also things can go wrong. Like, I think because of the intensity that you need for this swarm to work, you might, you know, fall down low enough that you can get into the creature's like flailing clutches. I mean, it may be completely wild at that point, but I mean, it doesn't matter because it's gonna catch you, right? That could go wrong. Like you could inadvertently put yourself into harm's way. Um, yeah.
Since there are so many of them, they could kind of spread out a little bit out of control and start gnawing away the rest of the things, like making the room unstable or falling apart.
Yes. Yes. It's like get the hell out,
That's
right?
what I was going to say. They
Mm-hmm.
potentially gnaw through the bit that connects the Leviathan's like neck bones to the skull,
Oh,
and cause a like maybe I mean it would be excessive if it made the whale fall apart, the skeleton, but it could cause a like major shift that is experienced to you as an earthquake.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still love it because it's like just so cinematically like, dramatic. It's like, yes, let's do it. Let's do this. Okay, so you're gonna use your ritual, so that's your dark die. Your light die is your skill. So
Yeah, I've got rituals as a skill.
absolutely. And vermin, so that's good.
Yeah.
And then your second light die, that devil's bargain. No matter what. You're already barnacled up, right?
Yep.
Because I mean, yeah, okay.
No matter what, since you're a nest, some of the the vermin have been holding together, and whatever comes out, like you start falling apart as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh man. Oh
They're
goodness.
not able to make it back in to keep you together.
Oh.
Oh, I have a sort of version of that, which is no matter what, they've been your swarm have been feeding off the energy of the sky dancer belts and create a floating swarm of sky dancing vermin. And
Oh
they're
my
quite good at it, it seems.
god, that's amazing. I'm sorry. I shouldn't like it that much, but I do.
But the belt would still be there, or would it be gone because they destroyed it?
Or they're sucking energy out of it. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? So,
But yeah, no, I was more thinking that the ambient energy of the belts caused them to also learn how to float.
He's surrounded by this cloud of vermin. Oh my god, that's out of body horror. Whoa. Um, I like the whole falling, like slowly falling apart thing. I like the cloud of vermin
Mhm.
around you, no matter what. You're trying to call upon this swarm. That once they're done doing what they want to do, or not doing, or what have you, I think they will insist upon swarming you. So you will, you know how like some bugs like have their babies like on their back?
Mhm.
Yeah, that swarm will be doing the same thing to you, right? So whether they succeed, or whether you succeed in doing this, whatever, or you don't, I mean, like either way, you're gonna have a swarm that's gonna be like huddling on your back,
Mm.
on top of like your barnacle armor. So that's my DB for you. Which one would you like, or not? No, or none of them. I mean,
Sure, but they're all really good. Just clarifying questions. If I take the floating vermin, they hover around me afterwards, or what's the image you guys picture?
I guess it's got to be enough that it doesn't stop you from succeeding, but that it's persistent. So I guess, yeah, maybe they follow you around in a cloud for a while.
I mean, yeah, that's a great image. I'll take that one.
It's
okay.
like impossible to hide the fact that you're a nest.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, like your nest is now outside, outside of you.
yeah,
Okay,
that's
all
cool.
right. Two light, one dark, please. Holy crap!
It's a 6.
All right,
But my rune goes up, I think. Yeah.
You rolled a light 6?
Yes.
light 6.
Light 6, but dark 5.
No, no, no. Like whatever's the highest, that determines like what it is. So if you rolled a dark 6, then yes, your ruin goes up.
Oh, okay, that's
Light
good.
6, like light 6, just means you succeed. You succeed well, and your ruin
Okay.
doesn't go up.
Okay, cool.
That's the beauty of this roller. It will tell you. It's like, you got a dark 6. You got you need your. If this is higher than your ruin goes up. It will tell you. So, but yeah, light
Ah.
6, you're fine. It's when it's
Okay, okay,
dark
okay.
6, when dark die is the highest. That's when.
Cool.
Okay, so tell us how this looks, including the vermin cloud.
Um,
It works so well that you not only have the swarm down there to help Masero, but you have the swarm up here
yeah.
around you.
Um, so I think one is still positioned like bit above the ground, hanging onto one of those bone pillars, and they mumble. They don't have a mouth, but they mumble the ritual words, and we see a humongous amount of beetles, of crabs, of rats, whatever vermin there might be, being summoned. And some of the creatures residing inside them also leave and mix with the rest. And they climb, the vermin climb the guardian, and as soon as some of those who were inside of Gwon, it's not just like a shifting mass on the ground, but it also starts levitating, and they swarm the area where the crystal is situated. And I think the Guardian is probably pretty irritated because there's so much movement at once, and it's so small creatures, it can't really get rid of them. So they free the crystal, and eventually Masera as well, and then yeah, some of the vermin in a cloud form returns to their master, to Gwon, and surrounds them.
And I think as the crystal comes out, I mean, like we see cuts back and forth between, your swarm surrounding you and Masero's like bony hand shaking as it's like trying to, grab free, and then like the beetles like all kind of like coalescing around this crystal and essentially like lodging itself and like kind of shoving it out of the embedment. I think this is where the crystal glows brighter and brighter and brighter, and then there's this great flash that covers everybody. And when we come back from our 10-minute break, we will see what happened with Hudjar and Hadyet. Okay, we're back. And we are back with the twins with their lifelong combat. Oh my gosh. All right, so
So I think the way it's been going so far is like a unstoppable force meets an immovable object kind of thing, like
Hadyet's not gonna
trading
move. Yeah.
trading blow for blow. Every move met by an opposite reaction. Every dart thrown, deflected on a shield. Every swipe of a sword, pushed aside.
Well,
And I think I'm up to 3 dice now.
you are, with your weak point still being 3.
Oh, I
Okay.
got an 11, but a 3. I hit my weak point.
Do you have armor? You wanted.
I do. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you tell me how you defeat her. But yeah, your armor deflects her supposedly, injuring blow.
Well, I think I know what happens. I think it ends with basically both of them, one impaled upon a trepanning needle in the throat, the other with a crystalline sword through the abdomen. And as they both sort of fall to the ground, around the wound in Hudjar's stomach where the sword is going right through, we can see now like her sort of clothes fall open a bit, and we see that she's absolutely covered in tattoos, like a script, like a ritual script, and it's the name of like the entire sort of maternal line of her family, and the sword has gone through just sort of the heart basically between the ribs, just to the point where she had her mother's name and then Hadjet's name, and the ink from the tattoos all coalesces around the wound, and the sword just sort of crumbles, and the wound like bubbles with black ink and then heals. And Hadjet just sort of lies on the ground, like gasping. And Hadjet's just lying there with a trepanning needle in the throat, breathing her last. And and Hudjar looks over at her and says, "The reparation begins." And I'm using my grandmother's prayers, which is one of my armors, but it's basically like a protective ward.
Amazing. Wow. Whew. I, okay. I think I'm gonna make a quick cut here. So I think do you say anything else to your sister?
I think she's out of it at this point, like
Okay.
for now.
Okay. I think as you approach the door, we see from behind you, like the camera, kind of like slowly zooming in on your back as you're staring at the door, which into the glowing sanctuary, which just pulses, very regularly, very, with a very harmonic beat, and the light just glows and outlines your silhouette before we cut right back to Gwon and Masero. Masero, you're you're down on the ground, like, in this condition with parts of you looking like part of the bone mantis.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you're clutching in your one hand with the beetles like receding, like maybe coming off of the crystal and coming off of you and dissipating into the grasses here. Like you see this very big glowing crystal that seems to beat like a heart, like a glow from within pulsing. And I think the glow dissipates as you hear in your head, free of the creature, but I am with you now. And just so you know, that crystal is worth 4 gold.
Ooh, all right.
Gwon, I don't know. Do you rejoin Masero down by the entryway to the temple, or do you like continue like up top, making your
Mm,
way like across the bone pillars?
I think I get down and I want to see what's going on with Masero.
Well, you
Sarah.
see his change condition, and Masero, you're looking up and you're seeing this. First, it seems like because of the shafts of light from the canopy, like maybe it's like he has branches or things like like coming out of his armor. But I think you realize as your vision clears, or does your vision clear? Because one of your eyes is now like an insectoid
Oh
look.
yeah,
I don't
like
know.
a kaleidoscope vision.
Yeah, but I mean, I think maybe that particular eye sees. Those are little. Those are little beetles floating around Gwon right now. Would you like? Would you like to comment to each other?
Seems like this place has changed us both.
Hmm.
See what it has done to Hudjar.
I do acknowledge your current. No, Gwon. Sorry, Gwon acknowledges your current form. If you happen to be hungry, you may eat some of their vermin. And there's some vermin floating around.
Amazing, amazing.
And since I'm a bit low on gold, I want to spend a token. I'm
Mhm.
keeping one. Maybe we'll need another for later. But
Okay,
I'd like to spend one for treasure.
absolutely. As you kind of make your way closer to the temple entrance, I think you will see that there's like recesses, like maybe where things are have been left either as an offering, or maybe these are things that have been hidden for people to find or something. And you find an ornamental box of glass and metal. It's full of calming incense, but what it also has embedded in it, almost as mirroring of the crystal that was embedded in the creature. There's a holy symbol there of a forgotten cult.
Mm,
So I'm gonna say that's like worth 2 gold.
cool. And should I add then 2 gold? Or should I add it as found equipment?
Well, you would add it as found equipment,
Okay,
and then like it could be sold eventually for 2 gold.
later. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Equipment can always be lost.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. And there's the entryway to the temple, free and clear.
All right.
I think I think you will also see, like, coming from it, it's like maybe like, the dim light pulsing from the doorway within, deeper within.
Mhm.
So I think at this point, you will both be able to join Hudjar in that liminal space. Um, I think Hudjar, they find you still standing in front of the door as it pulses and glows. But before that, I think you two will stumble upon a woman who looks remarkably like Hudjar, but is wearing this elaborate armor and has a trepanning needle in her throat. And you see your companion up ahead, like staring at the door to the glowing sanctuary.
You need any help?
I think Hudjar turns around and looks and says, with a slightly feral smile, "Not anymore."
Oh, I was talking to the one with the needle in her.
I
She
think
doesn't need any help.
I think she's quite dead.
Oh yeah, I guess you're all set.
And the glowing sanctuary door awaits.
Oh, you may also roll for gold, right? Puja.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just did a roll. I got 2 gold.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, we probably see Gwon looking at the corpse and maybe wanting to loot it, but there's nothing to be found because all the riches, all the treasure has been gathered by Hujal already.
Would you take anything from your sister's body, do you think?
I
The
think
sword is crumbled.
maybe there's like something that was what she was using to stop me from making my reparations, and also perhaps it's something of value, but it's also the thing I need to achieve my drive. Not right away, but like in at some point, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, for sure. Okay. So, you three enter through this glowing door. Entering the sanctuary instantly imparts a sense of calm. The bone walls glow faintly, warmed by the outer sun. Most surfaces are inlaid with gems and shells, runic inscriptions and tiled murals. There's a glowing orb of star metal that floats at the center of the chamber, emanating silver light. Seated in alcoves on either side are the forms of monks in meditation, some breathing slowly, others like living statues. Some appear as patterns of light and gold dust. Your goal for this final set is to commune with the glowing presence. The star metal's just floating there, giving off that glow that pulses and hums. You don't necessarily know what it says, but you feel its heat and energy. Actually, as you enter here, I have a question for each of you. You see something different as it glows, and the monks are breathing. You hear their breath, and somehow you hear the gentle, soothing song coming from unseen places. Each of you in your view, the hovering star seems to change its hue according to the mood of the viewer. What is your particular mood as you enter this calm place? Having done what you've done out there, having been through what you've been through so far. What is the mood? What is the hue?
Masero is just tired, exhausted, physically and emotionally and spiritually. Um, I think it's the glow is like a dull silver almost. And you said there was like uh whistling or piping or something.
Yes, it sounds like a sounds like as if someone is making a piping song, but you don't hear I mean, you don't see where that piping song is coming from. And it's quite soothing.
Yeah. And I think that's like there's the exhaustion. I think that piping sound reminds me of why I'm here in the first place. Um, and yeah, that is a little bit it is soothing. Yeah.
For Gwon, um, they have rather quiet disposition, and there's a hint of excitement when they enter, because this was what they were looking for, and they marvel at this location and this floating orb.
I think Hudjar hears the voice of raw power, that the star is the raw material needed for the reparations to be made. And there's a hue of like black light playing off everything. And a voice says, "Death."
Were there doors that we opened to come into this area, or was this just an archway?
It looked like there was a door,
Mhm.
but then it's almost as if when you made to enter into the sanctuary, the door melted away.
Mhm.
You didn't have to push or pull anything, it just disappeared. So, it's what you see, it's what you hear. And again, your set goal is to commune with the glowing presence. At this point, you are welcome to do, of course, hunt rolls to figure out what you can figure out. Oh, I meant to put this on recording. So, Gwon and Masero, because of the incredible fictional positioning of removing the crystal from the Bone Guardian, while it wasn't getting the official mechanical 3 tokens necessary to solve the set goal, they definitely solved the set goal by passing going past the Temple Guardian to get into the temple. So, I had no problems, feeding into that. All right. So, but again, because they didn't combat the creature, it's like no gold roll for you guys. Sorry.
I
Okay.
think Hudjar has a feeling that it's not as simple as just touching the star, the orb, that there's some kind of trap here.
I think Masero like looks at the star and looks at his companions and just says, "This place has taken enough from me already, and I will not take anything more from it." And turns around and walks out.
What?
Well, power move, I like it.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
or like shuffles out with his withered bone and wood leg, and
Okay.
yeah, I think Macero's had enough.
Oh my. Amazing.
But
And I think
is
it's because he's hearing the piping and everything. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh yeah, like I came here." I think old Macero would have
Yeah.
been like, "I'm just gonna get as much treasure as I can get."
Yes.
But like hearing the piping and just the ennui of like everything, it's like, "Oh, I came here for a reason, and if I, you know, trip and fall, my reason is not going to be there anymore." So I think it's gonna cash out.
Oh my. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say as you move to leave the glowing sanctuary and turn your back on the glow, I think, like kind of like hopping in
Mhm.
will be
All
your little squab friend. And he's like, "Ah!
Let's go.
Ah!"
Let's go, Chuckles.
Amazing. Wow. Okay.
The two of you. Look me up in Fort Durham if you ever need a place to stay.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Holy shit.
I, I think Hudjar looks as if like there's this sort of atrophied part of her brain that's like, maybe I should just go as well. Maybe it wasn't worth all this. And then you just see her turn her face to the orb and see the orb reflected in her eyes, and she's forgotten about it already.
Mm.
Amazing. Okay. Gwon, what would you like to do?
Gwon is looking at Masero in disbelief, but not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'd like to do a hunt roll.
Okay.
Maybe it's a risk roll, depending on if that's already trying to communicate with the orb. But basically, they walk around. They're not touching the orb. They're looking at the monks meditating. Those who still are around,
Okay.
And then they just sit across of one, and they assume the same position. They take the same position as them. They mimic what they are doing and see if that has any effect. Whether that means communicating with the orb or communicating with the monk or doing something else in the process.
Now you say you're not getting near you're not getting near the orb itself, yeah?
Yeah, so I picture it as being in the center of the room and the
Yeah, yeah.
monks on the side.
Yes, yes. So, because you're not approaching the celestial heart directly, yeah. Because you're not approaching the celestial heart directly, it's like I'm not going to have you do the full communing ritual. Um,
Hmm.
so you can totally do it as a hunt roll instead.
I mean, or would it make more sense if I slightly change that to go there more to the center? Because I'm not sure if I've got a better idea for communicating with the thing.
Well, I will tell you, as you approach the celestial heart, that automatically triggers the learning of the ritual archive.
Hmm.
So that will, lead to you communing with the star, but you're going to be able to access this particular ritual, and this can only be performed in the temple. The ability to use it fades upon leaving the incursion.
Hmm.
So, I'm not. I mean, I know I'm supposed to, but I'm not even going to cause you ruin for that because, again, it's like not something that you're taking with you. Um,
Hmm.
so
Yeah, I think I'll do that then.
yeah. So if you're going to do ritual, it is called archive. Trade a precious memory to learn a lost piece of lore, and I believe you are able to access that here. Yep, you are able to access it as the first of the rituals because I loaded Leviathan's bridge. So pick
Let's
archive.
see. Ah, cool.
Yeah. All right. So it is as it says. Trade a precious memory to learn a lost piece of lore.
Should
Piece of
I?
lore gained in this way may include useful information such as histories, maps, or named weaknesses of things. But yeah, I mean, it depends on what you trade, I think. So,
So I'm walking around and I do notice, okay, some of the monks are further back and some are closer, and maybe those who are closer, they are already more gone, as you said, statue-like, or even further. And I step closer to the orb, and I assume the position of one of those meditating monks.
Mm-hmm.
And I trade in the name of my maker. And this is in the this is I think significant because that ties to Gwon's drive,
Mm-hmm.
because commission a glory statue of your deity,
Yep.
and they worship their maker.
Oof. Yep. Losing an important memory may cause the treasure hunter's drive to change in some way. So, you may decide that your drive no longer compels you in the same way, especially having lost this memory, and you may decide to choose a new one. But before we do, let's close this out. For Masero and Hudjar having turned around and left,
I think
those who
Hudjar is
managed.
still there, right?
Yeah,
Are you
that-
still?
there.
Oh,
Valid.
okay. Okay. All right. So for Masero at least, those who manage to find their way to Seeker's Rest prove themselves worthy and enter the temple are rare. Those who enter the glowing sanctuary are never the same. So I would like to hear, like, once we finish out everybody's actions and such, it's like how you think, besides the physical, of course, like how you think you are changed
Mhm.
by being here. Okay.
Mhm.
Why don't you go ahead and make a risk roll since you're going to be activating Archive to commune, and then I will go to Hudjar after we see what you get. Okay.
Okay, let's see. So I'm using
The ritual
archive and the skill ritual.
Yep. What can go wrong? You could possibly activate something terrible because you are communing in a path that is incorrect for the temple.
Being into your ritual, you could lean into it too much, and it takes too many memories.
Oh.
Ooh.
Or all of them.
Ooh. Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, for a devil's bargain, so I'll just save myself for that.
Okay. Alrighty. So, got that. So first die, light die, definitely the dark die, and the devil's bargain. What do you got?
No matter what, amongst the things that Gwon learns from the orb, one of them is the thing that Hudjar needs to fulfill her drive, thus making Gwon a very convenient portable storage device.
Oh my god! A trophy USB. My brain is having explosions right now.
and Hudjar would notice that. So
Yeah.
In, since it's taken the name of your master as part of the communion, whether this succeeds or not, it implants a different name of its choice to make you think that someone else is your creator.
Oh shit. Wow. I love that one. I think, I mean, this will just change your drive. I think you're going to, instead of, the deity that you lost, I think you're going to make a great work. You're going to commission a great work, or even make it yourself. Actually, yeah, I'm going to say that you're going to feel the compulsion to create a shrine to the Leviathan itself.
Oh.
Yeah. Regardless of how this turns out.
I think I'll go with that one.
Okay.
Create a shrine for the Leviathan.
Yeah, you can put that as a condition. The great work compulsion. Call it that.
All right.
Okay, so 2 light, 1 dark, please, on a risk roll to commune with the star.
That's a 4 light.
I mean, you succeed with the complication, or you can risk it for a biscuit and add a dark die and re-roll. 2 light, 2 dark.
Yeah, let's go for that. Let's see where this leads. That's a 6 dark.
Your ruin goes up. I want to hear how you. Well, actually, let's hold on that. Like,
Yep.
but like, just have the success of your communing and how it makes you more lost. Like, why your ruin goes up. Hudjar, what are you doing? Hunt rolling, risk rolling. What are you doing?
I think Hudjar, while she watches like Gwon communing with the star, looks at her deck and pulls the top card. And it's the card of Saint Sletzer, who is the saint of those who fall in battle. And the saying for Saint Sletzer is, "Stay in formation lest you meet Saint Sletzer." And it's inverted. And she smiles and looks at Gwon and wonders whether it's his time to fall.
Oh dear.
Mhm.
And that means what now?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to see what happens, really. And then, you know, maybe there isn't enough to share.
Sounds like I made the right decision.
I feel like even if, whether it's true or not, even though you didn't take the devil's bargain, I think Hudjar is convinced that perhaps you now know that, yeah, like
I've got
it's a
information
delusion.
I'm not sharing with you.
Oh
It's a
man.
But because you didn't take the devil's bargain, it's probably a delusion. But
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
practical terms, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's
No,
good.
that's fine. That's fine. I mean, but if you're okay with it, Michael, that's
Sure.
So that means what for Hudjar?
I mean, basically, Hudjar's on Ruin 5, and Guan's on Ruin 4. So I'm going to go for a contest roll with the likelihood that it's going to be Hudjar that's the one that doesn't survive. But
Okay.
who knows?
Well, okay. So, oh boy, hold on. Let me just double check something because it's like it could have an interesting complication in here. Okay, so for Marc, for Masero, I have to say that like upon rereading like the conclusion stuff, treasure hunters who visit the glowing sanctuary gain the permanent condition Dreams of the Misty Isle, which can only be resolved by returning and taking their place at last within the roots of Seeker's Rest. So, and you may also find that your drive no longer compels you in the same way and may decide to choose a new one. So you can try to figure out a way to work that into your epilogue, you know?
Yeah, that would.
Okay, great. So that would be for anybody that survives the upcoming blah 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 too. So stakes as we formulate this contest. Yeah, I mean Gwon is happily communing, and you succeeded. Hold on, let me just get back to
Yeah, and I still have to describe stuff, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So you do. Holy crap, such a great success. Awesome success. But your ruin does go up. So,
Mhm.
um, describe that first, and then we will set up stakes for the contest. All right? What does that feel like for you to reach the heart of this celestial star, but then also feel like you're losing yourself to
Mm.
it? What does that feel like?
It it feels very unfamiliar to Gwon. It's like coming back home, you know, being in a familiar place, even though obviously they never been here. They don't have any relation, but the the star makes them feel like that, makes them believe they belong here. And I think when they finally come back, um, there's a pose the monks doing when they are meditating, and maybe a certain way of holding their hands. And as you mentioned, some of them are statue-like. So when Gwon comes back to themselves, they notice, okay, that one arm has basically become like a statue.
It's
Can't
solidified into
can't
place.
yeah, can't really use it anymore as a normal hand.
I think in the midst of your vision, though, just before you come back and then, maybe see Hudjar approaching you, I feel like you've seen the way that this place has made you feel so much a part of it, like you're coming home, is that you've seen the cycle of your own birth and death, but many, many times, many, many forms. This form with the cloud of vermin and the barnacle armor, but yet also as this perfect statue that has melded from this moldable clay, but then become perfectly smooth marble and then back again. And then other forms, like from the ameliorats to something from the sea that has come back and left and come back again. And it takes you through this vision. And I think each time, like there's this sense of like, welcome back, welcome home. We will always cradle you here. And I think your eyes, your vision clears to see Hudjar approach. Hudjar, what is your intent as you're
I,
thinking these things?
I think you can. I think it'll be possible to see. Gon will see that the light of the star is like in her eyes, basically behind her eyes, and
Mm.
she looks at Gon and says, "You contain the answer I seek. It is time to unleash the seal." And basically, she pulls out the idol and pulls out the seal that her sister was holding, that was keeping the darkness at bay. And she smashes. It's like I'm thinking maybe it's like a kind of like a ceramic version of one of those jade seals, you know. And she just like smashes it on the ground and then breaks open the totem and says, "The reparation is at hand. Take it." And the thing enters the room.
Okay, so stakes. Your intent is for this thing to take over and grab
Uh,
this information that you think is in Guan?
yeah,
Okay.
Guan is my reparation.
Oh,
Guan now knows the thing that the thing must know, and then my debt will be paid, and
wow.
it will all have been worth it.
Guan, I imagine that you don't want this to happen.
Nope.
Nope. What would you do, again, to defend or act against Hudjar at this point, knowing what you know of her intent?
I mean, later we established that Gwon tried to loot the corpse of Hudjar.
Okay.
And I think they took the needle and are now throwing it at
Yes!
Hudjar.
Sorry, just so happy about this. Okay. That's the stakes. All right, great. Okay, so I love building these things. Each player involved in this contest, take a light die if you have a skill or equipment that makes the contest easier. Obviously, the trepanning needle for Gwon, and Hudjar has activated the jar. Dark die if the contest itself is inherently deadly or dangerous. Yes.
Sure.
And then another light die, or a light die for each mark of ruin that you currently have. So for Hudjar, a total of 6 light die. For Gwon, a total of 5 light die. So you're in the contest roll and you're starting to build the die pool. Okay. For the dark die, again,
Sorry,
dark die.
just
Go ahead.
I've got 4 ruin.
Yes, but you're always starting with the light die for the skill or equipment that you're using. So your light die count would be 5. Hudjar's would be 6.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, and I start with 1 because it's deadly dark die.
Yeah, one dark. You start with 1 dark die because it's deadly, deadly and dangerous for sure.
Makes sense.
Okay, now here's the fun part that you don't tell us about until we do the roll off. You take as many dark die as you want to go against your opponent to increase your odds of success. However, for every dark die that you roll that shows a 1, you would bump up your ruin. Okay? That's a mark of ruin for each 1 dark that you get. So choose wisely about how much dark die you want to throw into the pool. Okay, so does everybody have their numbers? Hudjar with 6 light and however many dark. Gwon with 5 light, however many dark.
Okay, I'm just
plug them in. Don't roll
thinking.
yet.
Yeah. So I can add as many dark die as I want.
As you want.
Oh.
Because what you're aiming for is 6s, like as many 6s as possible. And then if there's a tie, then we go down to 5s. There's a tie there, we go down to 4s. You know, blah 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 until we get a winner.
Okay.
I did 30 something once, and that was a really terrible idea.
Does everybody have their numbers? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, roll.
Oh boy.
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Oh.
1. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. So Gwon wins, but also hits 6 ruin. Hudjar loses, but also gets to 6 ruin.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Masero was right to walk away.
Masero was right to walk away. Okay. Okay. So we just have to deal with the immediate circumstance of like Hudjar trying to get this demon thing to take over Gwon, and Gwon is going to. Okay. So, let's start with Hudjar first, and then to describe how you succeed. Like, what does this look like with this presence, you know, going over Gwon, but then Gwon, how you do succeed as well, and you both fall to ruin in this place. I have an idea exactly of how you both can go out, but I would like to hear like how you each, you know, how Hudjar falls into Gwon.
My big idea is that Hudjar is wrong and the reparation is her.
Oh my god.
I don't actually think I want to do anything more than that because I don't want to mess with Gwon's like resolution. But I think ultimately the thing I want to say is that Hudjar didn't realize all along But the reason that her sister was trying to stop her is because she knew that it would always be her that would be the price to pay.
Great.
Oh, but Gwon, you win.
I mean, maybe if that's the way you are taken out, then maybe the star protects me because I was able to communicate with it. But it demands that I stay and I become one of those ever meditating monks.
I mean, if you do stab Hudjar, which that's the success that we determined. I think the glowing sanctuary. I'll let me narrate this because this is interesting. So yes, I mean, like, Hudjar, because you're being killed at this juncture, I think the presence, your entity, is basically saying, well, since you're being killed at the moment, then I guess the best sacrifice is one that is right here, and it is you. But I think,
And the thing that
God,
lets it happen is that the needle still has Hadjet's blood all over it,
yes,
and now it's got hers too, and that's what it needed.
damn. It actually got the entity really won because it got a twofer. To be honest, I mean that's basically what happened. But I think, Gwon, the way that you're paying is because you are spilling blood here in this sanctuary of calm. I think you will see coming out of one of the recesses that are beyond the star and the monks that you are seeing in the alcoves. There is a spirit, an outline of this gigantic person of armor and booming presence. You can hear its footfalls, the weight. The calming is soothing, but it's also weighty. It's almost stifling when it enters the room and, like, raises an accusing finger and saying, "You have disturbed the peace of the glowing sanctuary. You spilled blood and disturbed our relics. You must pay the price." And I think before you can react, I think it will come to you and will lay a very weighty hand on you as it escorts you perhaps to one of these alcoves that will be made your own as you atone for spilling blood here. So, I think that is the close of this set, evidently. Now I would like to hear epilogues. If you need a minute or two, Masero, if you have it prepared, then that's great. Incorporate the condition that has been laid upon you if you can. And then for the other two, how the world has changed or what has happened to your character beyond this.
Yeah, I think Masero like makes his way back through all the messed up stuff we came through,
You've
and
got your
kind of
friend, though.
I've got two friends.
Riding around in your head, yeah.
um, and I think the uh, everyone that we've passed and interacted with kind of watches me both with kind of and like recognition of like, oh yeah, like you're kind of part of us now. We'll see you when you return. Not if, but when. And I think part of the like what is going through his head as he leaves, finds his way back out the floating mangrove isle, is kind of regarding all the changes, like physically and mentally, he's been through. Kind of like the face turn in the middle, where he was like, "I'm not just a selfish jerk. I'm going to be helping people." Um, and I think he decides that the insectoid, bony, all you like physical transformations are kind of a external expression of the of the sins he has kind of shed through this process. And so his drive is changing from free the kindly followers of the Piper to reform the kindly followers of the Piper. So not only do I'm not just getting them out of whatever trouble they're in, but I'm making sure that they are their sins are exhibited in the same way.
Do you eventually think you return, or you feel the call of Seeker's Rest?
Definitely feel the call. I think unless something changes to alleviate the physical symptoms and mental symptoms, I think eventually, yeah, after my drive is complete, that's where my final rest is.
Let's see. Who's next?
I think we see just an image of, the two dead sisters, like Hadjet lying on, in the hallway. And we see in her eyes a little spark of fire. And then lying, emptied and dead with a trepanning needle in her throat, we see Hudjar. And we see just darkness in her eyes. And behind all of this, behind Exodius, behind the sisters, behind the shadows and the dark, and behind the light, we can just see a void with twin souls floating in it. And below is the great maw of the Leviathan, and above is the great fire that is the fire of Ara, the torchbearer. And one ascends and burns up, and the other falls and is swallowed.
Amazing.
I think many years from now, there will be other treasure hunters entering the sanctum with the still floating orb, and they walk around and they look at the monks, and then they look at what remains of Gwon, and one of them says, "This is odd. That one looks different," and maybe they are slightly tilted, and also there's vermin still crawling all over them.
Amazing, beautiful endings all. That is it for our playthrough of Leviathan's Bridge. Woo! Congrats, everyone! Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Yeah, stars and wishes for the close of that. Amazing. I, I just, I mean, I'm just gonna start. Sorry. Stars for all of these characters going out or going through the way they did. Even Gwon, who we just saw for like one and three quarters worth of the adventure, and just such beautiful imagery for all the narrations of things that you were doing, and just, I mean, it was just the movie that I was seeing in my head, especially those images of like what happened to the spirits and to each of your characters, like, at the end. I'm like, oh my god. Oh, so beautiful. And this was, you guys made it very easy to go through, um, you know, each of the sets and just have things happen to you. The dice rolls were cooperative, non-cooperative, but either way, I mean, like, it just made for awesome, awesome drama and awesome, fiction. And it was a grand pleasure to be able to take you through this. I really enjoy Gabriel's writing, and this was a lot of fun to take you through each of the sets and give you stuff to do and find and battle and just, oh my God. Oh, I'm just, yeah. I mean, that definite star to you, James, for that ritual script of the healing of the wound, and the images of being able to see what happens to these twins that were just going through it. Oh my gosh. And we didn't see Guan very much. I mean, obviously, but I mean, for what we did see, an amazing turnout for the nest, who was helpful, but then also found a strange peace here, you know. And then Masero, Masero having such an arc. Oh my God. And being very much changed in the end, physically and emotionally. It was a ride. It was such a great ride. Thank you all so much. Um, I really have no wishes. I think this was a great playthrough, and you guys were you guys were making it so easy. It was just a joy to like sit here and listen to what your characters were going through, and you know, just providing the set dressing. That's all I was doing. It was all good. It was all great. So good. That's it for me.
Yeah, I had a great time. I did not expect to make it through this one. Like I feel like I should have gone out 2 sessions ago, but the dice were with me, so that was great. Um, and yeah, the sole survivor. I feel like I have a yeah, yeah. I don't think I've ever left an incursion before the end before. I think I was just like, I've got 12 gold. I'm out. Because most, you know, trophy dark and gold, like the reason you're doing it is to go through and get your thing for your drives. Like, I think I've got this stuff for my drive. I don't think I need to go any further. And so, yeah, kind of giving up that final climax was, I think, totally appropriate for Masero. Um, yeah, I mean, big wishes for or big stars for just running this throughout the entire thing. It's so great. Matt's doing a great job getting us all through all the creepy and beautiful stuff there. I love the sister battle arc. That was super good. Though we didn't see Guan that much, I felt like there was a really strong, sharp picture of who they were and like how, you know, what their place was in the story. It was super good. Yeah, all around it's great. Yeah, I think the only wish, I think I might do this myself, is go through some Hearthfire for Masero and to tidy him up a little bit, just to tie off some of those loose ends. That's about it.
I can go next. I had a great time. Thank you very much, everyone. Matthew done an amazing job of running the game, explaining the rules, portraying the NPCs, and making the world feel alive. So it was pretty cool, and I think you've picked a really interesting incursion, so I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, especially I did enjoy quite how different the last room or the last set felt, and you made it really distinct from the dangers beforehand, and it felt oddly calm. So I really liked that Hudjar then turned on Gwon. The whole story of fighting with your sister, and I'm quite glad that it was definitely a star that you survived, because Hujed probably would have acted differently in the end. So I think this is such a interesting narrative ending for your character. Yeah, and definitely a star for Masero for making it till the end. I thought you'd die like in the second session. And yeah, let's go Chuckles. It's definitely a star. I think in terms of wishes, if I ever run this, if you don't mind, I'd make Masero an NPC living there in Seeker's Rest.
Oh, I love that. With the full-grown sawtooth vulture, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's it.
I think yeah, like I echo what others have said, that you ran it really nicely, Mads, and it was so like a lot of different diverse vibes. I think my biggest star is just for everyone having fantastic, devil's bargains all the way through and them accumulating and everyone just being really psyched about using them because they just added up over the. And I think like the whole thing with the twin thing and that all came out of devil's bargains. Like it was all just like. And thanks a lot, Big Star, to Michael for just rolling with that last bit and being game to do it. Because I'm glad that we got to do our little sort of end bit. And yeah, and massive star also Masero just leaving and being done. Remembering that we were actually playing Trophy Gold and you could just leave. I just think that was a great contrast to what happened. I love these one shot or one incursion trophy gold games you've been doing, Mads, because it means you can enjoy the trophy gold rules, but also kind of play trophy dark as well, and that's great fun. And I just because I'm an equal fan of both, I just really enjoy that balance. Yeah, and I just thought it was fantastic. And starter Darren's Treasure Hunter's Guide to Nagane for all the ideas for Hudjar. Definitely use that again. It's really good. It's on itch. It's pay what you want, I think, and it's good.
If it's okay
Very
with
good.
you all, I will definitely post it, and then when I post it, I will definitely put in the itch link for this as well as for
Yeah, it's
Trophy
it's a very
Gold.
nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice little list, and a very sort of. I just thought it was great, and it was refreshing having played with the normal trophy gold options quite a lot. I found it very refreshing, and yeah, start to Leviathan's Bridge, which is just fantastic and so rich. And yeah, my wish is just to play again, but I like these one-off, like little clusters of sessions. So I imagine that'll happen, and yeah, it's just great.
Oh yeah, there's so many more core incursions as well as the third party incursions that I am growing collection, of course, a growing collection of. So hopefully I'll get a chance to run a lot of them over the course of the next year or so. God, I mean, there is a lot. There is a lot to go through, and so yeah, I enjoy this so much, especially with like such great players that are experienced, as well as like those new 2 trophy gold. So, Michael, I hope that you enjoyed yourself in this one, but I hope you have an immense time running your own trophy gold incursions because this is like a joy. There's a lot that's very similar, but then there's some things that are different. So, yes, kudos to Marc for remembering we are playing Trophy Gold and not Dark. Although the contest role is very possible in Gold as well, so it's not out there to do such a thing. It's just funny as hell. Somebody remembering, oh, I can go home as long as I meet my burdens. I'm great. Oh, so good, so good. Yeah. So I enjoyed myself so much with you guys. Thank you so much. I mean, I will be running more Trophy Gold, I'm sure. Um, yeah, there's quite a few things that like other people in my server have written, so I would like to try and like reach those and like be able to do a playthrough of those as well with some little twists. Um, and again, some great core materials, some great third party materials. So like, yeah, I definitely want to do it all. And again, I will be posting this like the beginning of this like fairly soon. Um, among the other series that I'm trying to post on my channel. But I mean, again, this was very enjoyable, and I hope to game with you guys again. This was great. I mean, never a disappointment because it's like I know somebody's gonna bring on the shit, and it's gonna be wonderful. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you guys have the wonderful rest of your weekend and happy gaming for the rest. And I hope to game with you again very,
Yeah.
very soon. All right. Thank you. Oh my
Thanks,
gosh.
Bye,
everyone.
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye.